Hello there, YouTube. This is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with a month of Darkest Dungeon. Throughout the month, we are going to be playing Darkest Dungeon primarily whenever we're doing single player stuff. Co op streams obviously different because of the fact that, well, Darkest Dungeon is not a co op game. And just for a little bit of an upfront, I have not really looked at very much about the game. I know that it's been running over on Epic for about its entirety of early access, so there's a lot of content out there already I'm aware of, but pretty much for the most part going into this blind, I played a demo which is like probably almost a year old, so I can't even say that necessarily everything that I have seen in that demo is even relevant in the game that we are about to play here. Also, I have played Darkest Dungeon 1 for quite a bit. I have completed a campaign, but for the most part, it wasn't really my game. I really liked the whole, for those of you who don't know, Darkest Dungeon 1 was a more so you managed a sort of like a hamlet or a city, if you would, and adventurers would come in. You would take care of their needs or like either buff them, train them, stuff like that, and then you would send them out. And then they would go back, get resources that you would then use to develop your town or those heroes, and you would keep doing that, sending them out to different dungeons. And sometimes those heroes would die, and sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes they would come back worse than death. They would have so many crippling ailments that you were just pretty much like, gonna get rid of that. The whole city builder slash like dungeoneering manager aspect of it was the part that I didn't like about it most. It was a lot like XCOM, and well, XCOM was really only fun for me once, and likewise, Darkest Dungeon was only really fun for me once. You go back to like the base management aspects, and I'm like, okay, I just really want to get into these dungeons and delve. So Darkest Dungeon 2 is more of like a roguelike run style mechanic, sort of like, most roguelikes, where you start out with a team of adventurers, very similar to Darkest Dungeon 1, except you're going to see that one team to their end, be it at a grisly demise in, like, let's say Act 1, or if you make it all the way to the end of the campaign. And if anything happens to them, it's going to be more or less permanent, because as far as I know, you can't really swap them out with anybody. And so it makes events that happen much more permanent. Whereas in Darkest Dungeon 1, if something happened to, like, say, your star player, you would just grind up a new one or replace them. Anyways, that said, I'm very excited about Darkest Dungeon 2 because I am part of the camp that, again, didn't really like the whole, like, city management, dungeoneering guild, whatever you want to call it. And looking at some reviews that were on Steam, top 5 negative, pretty much every single one that I ran into that gave this a negative review already was, I liked Darkest Dungeon 1, why would they change Darkest Dungeon 1? This is absolutely baffling. And most of the people that gave it a thumbs up was like, hey, it's a new refreshing formula. I like the fact that, my choices actually matter long term, or as long as a run. You're not treating your heroes like disposable units because you only get 4. And so a lot of people liked the fact that it wasn't very gamey how you treated individual people. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and begin a new journey. This is probably going to throw us into a tutorial.
Ruin has found you at last. My protege. I my friend. Our calculations were correct. The ephemeral equation is unbalanced. The Earth spins on a strange and terrifying new axis. And everywhere, unbridled consequence. The world is a wasteland of failures past. And yet, you must ride out into it. Unafraid.
We're going to Comic-Con?
Take this. It is hope. The very last of it. It is yours now. You were bold once. Be bold once more. Free yourself from this suffocating stillness. Fix your gaze on the horizon. And face the fearsome truth of the darkest dungeon. The seat of your denial, perched precariously in the murky gloaming.
Yeah, and if for whatever reason you guys don't know what Darkest Dungeon is, expect very good narration. What the heck is my name there? Reyes Captivus? Oh. Well, that's right. I put mouse driving.
I know failure well.
Oh no.
I glimpsed it lurking at the ragged edges of your mind. I watched its venom spread through the veins of the world. And I trembled at its terrible reverberations. The crossroads.
Okay, sorry. I gotta change this. I have screwed up. No mouse driving, please.
Wait by the lantern's light, and welcome what help may come.
All right. So, again, as I said, in Darkest Dungeon 2, we're not given more or less a random group of adventurers. We can always just go ahead and click random party and it will give us a random group of adventurers. We'll not necessarily do that at the moment because we'll go ahead and play this tutorialized as they intend.
A fugitive seeking to outpace the past.
And each of these classes has very distinct benefits. It'll be much easier for me to describe this when we get into combat, but we also have apparently goals that give us a resource that we can then use to further improve these characters, like buying more abilities and such. Apparently there's also titles which are somewhat good. I don't know. We'll have to learn about that later. But each one of these characters also has a randomly assigned quirks, or like positive and negative benefits. So our Plague Doctor here has a better safe route scouting chance, and will occasionally steal some of our stuff. Our Grave Robber has extra move resistance, so she's less likely to get scattered around, and she has Braggart, so every time that she hits something, there is a, I'm guessing, 10% chance that she is going to then have a positive or negative relationship with other characters. I don't quite know how exactly that's going to work. Our Highwayman is resilient, so if they have less than 50% HP on round start, they will heal trauma. It's not called trauma, it's called stress in this game. They will stress heal, which is a resource that over time will cause characters to have an outburst and deteriorate the team's overall morale. And he also has a 15% resolute chance, which is something that happens when your stress gets too high. And if he's under half HP, he does less damage. So, guess he's both good and bad under half HP. Our Man-at-Arms is a Photomaniac, so if our Flame, which is, I believe, in the original game, Flame was used as sort of like your torch, and that would determine like how like in the dark you were. In this game, your Flame is your overall like team morale. And so when morale is high, he's going to get I don't know what that is, dodge, dash. I don't know what that symbol means, but he's going to get some sort of a buff. And he will not eat slime mold, which I don't think that makes him a fussy eater. Like, it's literally mold. I don't know. Anyways, so this is going to be our team for this run, and we are also going to rename these heroes. After our friends, as you do in games like this where your friends die. And we'll try and get right into this as soon as possible so that I can explain sort of what's going on in combat, which is going to be, I'm not going to say like the complete,
Onward.
like
And let
everything
us
that's
hope
in the
that
game.
yet
There is
remains of
some
the
management
world.
aspects in there as well.
The bulwark of your denial is giving way.
Okay, so up here, I believe at the top, we can see the turn order going this way. I believe that we have party order determines what position each hero is in when the battle starts. The furthest hero to the right gains begin. Okay, I see. They're saying that while I'm driving, I can position people here. I thought that they meant that that was actually going to determine turn order, because that is certainly not the case here. So each character, if I can get to their stats now, I cannot. Here we go. Each character has a base speed, which then is added to a roll to determine their turn order at the start of a turn. This is obviously our turn order here. There should be enemies here. I don't know if we're just absolutely faster than they are for this tutorial combat, but enemies can obviously interrupt our turn order. And so it is now Javo the Grave Robber's turn, and so we can use any of our abilities here so long as on the left side the yellow pips show the spaces in the formation that we are able to use these. So if we were absolutely in the back where the Plague Doctor is, we would not be able to use Pick to the Face. And the blue dots are the available targets for us to hit. So we can hit both of these units here because they are first and second. If there was anybody in the third or fourth row, we would not be able to hit them. It also specifies where there is melee or ranged. Then over on the left here, I can't hover over at the same time. You can see the damage range, the critical chance, if it ignores armor or not. Armor, of course, being negative 50% damage from the next hit, and is plus 50% crit if the target is also marked, which is a status effect that some units use, some don't.
A promising development.
So we're going to get away from this relatively clean. As I said before, we are taking this team all the way till their gruesome end. So any damage that we sustain, any of this stress meter, which are these little pips below here, and some status ailments are going to carry over on after the fight. So the fact that we took no damage means that we don't have to use resources to heal them, and the fact that they took no stress means that we're doing pretty well as far as their individual morale.
Are you shaken? There is so much worse in store.
Yes, tutorials. Some of the loot that we're going to find are going to be called trinkets, which are basically sort of like min-maxing things that we can put on our characters. This one, of course, increasing their disease resistance and their debuff resistance, but they are more likely to be stunned. In fact, they will have whatever the chance the stun is of the enemy. Resists in this game work as, generally speaking, we can actually take a look at this, I believe. Apparently not. Maybe this is 100%, and then it gets plus 30% piercing when the target is marked, which is odd because this is a 25% chance to mark. Anyways, plus 30%. I don't know, maybe I'll have to look into this, but generally speaking, there was usually a % chance to deal blight in the first game, and then you would have to buff that. But let's assume that this is 100%. So if it was 100% and we were using this on an enemy with our resistances, we would reduce the chance of that to happen by the % that we have resistance. So it would be 100 minus 40 is 60%. So we would have a 60% chance to blight them. If they did have... So then, of course, if they were marked here, we would get plus 30% res piercing. So then this would technically be 10, and it'd be 90% chance to blight, which is significantly better. And in case you didn't notice here, these little different size pips just means that we would prefer to be in the areas that are more full, because most of our abilities occur there. And we prefer to attack targets that are in these larger pips, as opposed to these back pips. Just as a general rule, like say blinding gas can only hit these back 2 targets, but we cannot hit these front 2, but most of our abilities that do attack do hit those targets. Anyways, we can get going here. We can get rid of this too.
You must be strong enough to shoulder more than your share of the burden.
Alright, so these will often come up. This is basically me deciding what I want to do just as an abstract idea. Sometimes these actually have like consequential benefits, but right now I'm choosing who to side with here. And down here, we can see the benefits that we are going to get. So we will get plus 100 flame and a trinket, or we will get plus 100 flame and some consumables. I'm more for the trinket, so we're going to go ahead and go with that. And the Plague Doctor, Big Red, was also illuminated because they liked the course of action that we were going to side with. Sometimes other characters don't appreciate that, and as such, they will gain or lose stress, or their relationships will be affected according to my actions. And so this trinket is plus bleed resist, negative burn resist. We're going to hope that that is okay. And just throw it on someone. I'm not even sure that we're going to run into any bleed here.
You can feel it. A change in the air. You see, even your valley is not immune to the spreading stain.
So another thing to note, we technically had it on our character sheets, but this enemy does as well. If you look all the way down at the lower right, they have a resist that's called death resistance. So if we reduce this enemy down to 0, there's a 25% chance that it will choose just not to die. And that's kind of spooky. Generally speaking, these enemies that take up 2 or even 3 spaces in the enemy formation are significantly more formidable, not only in their health, as they have 42 as opposed to 13, but they also generally have more devastating attacks. So it's, we're going to say notable. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this enemy. %75 chance to gain 1 stress for 3 turns. And our next attack deals less damage. Lovely. Okay.
Observe the subject carefully, and you will discover its weaknesses.
So Fell the Tree even has a chance to cause disease? Or it targets people with disease? I don't know. But it has 3 attacks, only one of which we've seen. That's nice. They didn't really have that in Darkest Dungeon 1 either, so you kind of had to just remember all that. Well, everybody's horrified. That's dodge chance. Interesting.
A breakthrough.
Another important thing about Darkest Dungeon is that enemies' corpses actually take up space, and this corpse has an amount of health as well. If this game is anything like Darkest Dungeon 1, there's going to be enemies that can deal with corpses, but otherwise it makes it so that you don't just make a frontline crew that all attacks slot 1, and then you just DPS everything down because it all slides up. But now we can't really necessarily do anything, but I suppose that's okay because we can go ahead and heal that bleed.
This wound, at least, has been tended to.
Can we knock this back? No.
Excellent work. A righteous action. Well done.
I'd say that one wasn't necessarily that good. Mainly due to the fact that we lost half of Softail's health pretty much. And we incurred a little bit of stress, especially on Old Man Chronix here. So it's definitely gonna come to bite us. I don't know how soon the nearest inn is where we would be able to. Oh well, apparently it's right there. Never mind. Meet map. Suppose it is a tutorial.
The fire is lit. The table is set. The inn awaits its favorite guests.
Are they really gonna have me, like... They are. They're gonna have me end the
A
expedition.
lesson.
Alright. Well, we're gonna run that back, I suppose.
Do not despair. There is nobility in the attempt. It is your charge to manifest a vision of the sane Earth.
Unlock new paths. What?
Spare a thought for tools of iron. Such implements will serve us well. A drop of sanity in a sea of madness. Every twinkling recollection is another implement at our disposal.
Well, we have unlocked the ability to get whiskey.
Once more into the maelstrom, in search of what hope
Now
yet
it's just a
remains.
darkest party.
Your sanctum, adrift in this bituminous nightmare. I remember our first meeting on the steps of the university. A collegial handshake that would doom us both. Your insightful questions during my lectures gave me pause, and I recognized in you something of a kindred spirit. Despite our differences in age and position, we shared a keen fascination for archaeology, folklore, and, of course, occultism. The crossroads, where lost souls hope to find their way. Hunted, harried, a fugitive seeking to outpace the past.
Alright, let's see if we can't get a real run with some tragedy in it.
You came here seeking solace, but found
Do
stagnation
we have
instead.
items? They
The point of no return welcomes you. With
gave us
open
the item that
arms.
we unlocked? Okay.
The bulwark of your denial is giving way.
Typical Bits not watching the road as he's driving. So it might seem a little weird why I'm focusing like the back unit.
One
Generally
less obstacle
speaking,
in our path.
in Darkest Dungeon 1, and it has looked like, at least in the tutorial fights, that it's the same here. The backline units don't necessarily deal a lot of damage, but what they do is they actually deal, we'll call it meta damage, right? Stuff like stress, or like even debuffing your heroes. They deal damage that's going to affect you throughout the run. Not saying that this is, of course, permanent. It's my next attack, but they either extend the fight, which means that other enemies have the chance to deal their more damaging attacks, or that they have chances to crit, or they're going to cause stress on us, which is going to tax us over time. I don't know necessarily if that is or is not the case in Darkest Dungeon 2, but it's wise to probably think that that is the case, at least in my opinion. So we're going to go under that assumption that if we see an enemy that doesn't necessarily pose a lot of combat threat to us, the enemies in the backline are probably more dangerous until proven otherwise. Whereas in that fight where there was a heavy in the front that was theoretically going to deal a lot of damage, it felt more appropriate to focus down that enemy and at least make him managed and then take out the back line. But doing so costed us quite a bit of stress.
Push on to the inn. Rest and resupply await you.
Oh no, our names didn't stay.
There are yet places such as this, where a little light still gathers.
Alright, so apparently we got slime molds that heal food or heal health, have a possibility of adding disease and can potentially add a quirk. We don't have any healing that we need to really do. And we have 1 bottle of whiskey, which will relieve stress on 2 targets. And I don't know what those other things mean. Is that like relationships? Hold up. Oh, seems like it. So then it has a chance to be 3 pips good, or a chance to be 2 pips bad. Yeah, negative relationships is blue. Interesting. Well, we don't need to do any of this unless we wanted to like try and buff someone's relationship with someone else. But we're going to go ahead and ignore that. That seems pretty potent. Better defense. More stress heal. Removes weaken. And whatever that heart is. This one gives us more defense. I'm going to go ahead and improve that. I'd kind of like this to be better. This makes it deal more damage. And blights for more. Okay. This heals slightly more. This gives him more disease resist. It actually gives a lot more of the other resistances as well too. So we'll go ahead and go for some more blight. Some more defense. This improves it from dodge to like mega dodge or whatever you want to call that, greater dodge. This improves the blight of poison dart. This improves its damage significantly and better crit chance. This upgrades its top end. This seems like a much better upgrade. It's guaranteed 1 to 2 damage as opposed to possibly 3 damage. This is also an additional 1 to 2 damage. But this is 1 to 2 targets with bonus crit. I don't know, maybe that's a trap. Still don't know if blight stacks. Go with the flashing daggers. This gives more riposte. Seems interesting. This helps make sure that we bleed. Yeah, so it seems like, unless specified, everything is a 100% chance, and this is bonus 30%, technically. What about Duelist Advance? Did we not up this? No, we did not. We upped this. So we could sort of have a setup where the Highwaymen and the Man-at-Arms are always doing forward attacks to swap positions with each other. And then these also give benefits. Defensive benefits on him and offensive benefits technically here.
The next stop is leagues away. Plan accordingly. Good.
I guess we're making whiskey. What is this? Armor is damaged when driving on hazardous routes. When we have this full, heroes start with 50% damage reduction. Damage when traveling on rough routes. When full, each hero gains 50% travel healing, which is why we didn't have to heal when we got here. Okay.
The provinces and cantrevs of our land, crumbling and
Avoid the
undone.
watchtower. Clear out the lair. Well, we have a limited amount of time. Lair sounds like it's going to kill us, so we'll go ahead and go
Mud and
here.
rain, resignation and death. This land is truly barren.
Okay. And hopefully next time we do a run, we can actually like get into the run without going through a tutorial. Alright, minimap is M. Thank you.
Rewards only.
I want to know where this layer
Resignation.
is. There it is. Am I able to click this? Or otherwise tell myself that I want to go there? Not really. It's a rough patch for -1 wheel, which would mean that we would lose healing going through here. Watchtower for scouting hazard. I'd almost rather keep the 50% armor mitigation, so then that would send us here through a lot of fights, which I'm guessing is the point. We get some supplies there and then end up here. So middle left, left. If I can remember that. I also like that we finally have different environments. The demo only had
Consider all
exactly one
variables,
environment.
But do it quickly. vacant and resigned. The Lost Battalion shambles on.
None of these are going to give us a buff. And this is pretty much exactly what I mean when I was talking before about why exactly I usually target the back line if nothing scary is in front. Note that I think that these are very scary, especially a ranged damage dealer. But this drummer just gave everybody even more block, and the plus speed and plus 200% move resistance. So if we were a team that wanted to move people around, we can't do that anymore. So while this guy is probably not going to do much to us, he's doing a lot more by buffing his allies. And so that's why backliners in Darkest Dungeon are like particularly potent. And they definitely put you in sort of the conundrum of who's actually more deadly, the support or the person actually dealing damage to you. Anyways, I would like to blind the guy in the back. And he's marked, which is nice. He has 15 HP. I don't think that we can actually kill him. I mean, it's next hit, so it's not like this is going to disappear.
Master stroke.
We're going to have to punch through all of that. In fact, I wonder... Oh, this is just burn resistance. I thought this was something we used on enemies. Never mind then. Now let's try and eat up some of that armor they got. Seven base damage? Yeah, that's a problem. Preparing to use a powerful skill. Alright, he's pretty much done. Repulsed did some work there, at least.
And apply it judiciously.
Oh, he's blocking. I am a fool. Let's take care of that.
This wound, at least, has been tended to.
God. That death blow resist. keep forgetting that this man is blocking for him. Is there anything that tells me that besides the fact that he has block?
A little help impeccably timed.
Alright. So the first fight almost completely wiped us. I don't know how much healing we're going to get in between events, but my guess is it's not going to be a lot. Healing received from skills. Okay. %of 6 is 1, but we'll take it. And what is this? When stress damaged, potential to heal 33%. I don't know, seems pretty good. Guess we'll put that in the back line. Alright. Just left, I believe. I almost forgot.
So that others may flee.
So I wasn't watching the health down there. How much did we heal? Hardly. And that's with plus 50%. At least this fight doesn't seem as dangerous.
What can we learn upon closer inspection?
Let's see, what's our damage range? 4 to 7.
A lesson taught is a lesson learned.
Alright. So we're below 50%, so this is actually going to heal. Not really much that we can do. We're now below 25%, so this won't heal, but it will give us some dodge. I don't know. Almost feel like we want to take care of this. Lived by 1.
A small foundation of trust.
Okay. All right.
The past is gone. Let it die.
It's interesting that they only make abilities heal under a certain threshold now. I suppose it makes sense because they don't want you spam healing. Which was definitely something that was a problem in the first game. No buffs. We're gonna try and see what happens when that relationship gets higher. That's rough. But if you're gonna be right there, that means that we might be able to just burst you down. This is 46, 10% chance to crit gives me riposte. We're probably gonna take a lot of damage. Seems like the better move as opposed to the tracking shot. Tracking shot means that Java would be more likely to get the crit, but I don't think that the crit is necessarily going to kill with the skill. In fact, what's your death blow resist? Your death blow resist is 0. Maybe it's better just to poison you. Probably not. Didn't blind the archer. Okay. It's gonna be rough. Well, here comes the hurt.
This is no time to falter. Awash in turmoil.
Oof. We might not even make it to the lair to die there. Well, at least that's done.
Development.
Am I not below 25%? Yes. There we go. Don't know why I have to click on myself on a self-targeting skill, but here we are. We're losing lots of momentum for having to heal ourselves, but at least the buffs are going to stop, I guess.
Steady yourself.
50% chance to dodge, and we missed it.
A petty hindrance.
Cannot gain block. Got it. Well, that's not good.
Observe the subject carefully, and you will discover its weaknesses. The siren song of the void.
Ooh.
Burned for now. Another impediment. Cleared with impunity.
Well,
Righteous action.
we lived.
In this world, wealth is worthless without purpose.
Excuse me. Good to know. That's certainly new. And that does heal. Also good to know.
An inkling of potency still lingers in some of these well-worn relics.
Distant trinket. Does that mean that I put it on the cart? Because it says each hero on combat start. Oh no, this is on somebody. Gain on miss. Well, that's pretty useful. Now I wonder if using those combat items actually takes your turn.
Perhaps you are finding your courage at last.
Okay. This actually gives us a +1 whatever that is, so we're going to go ahead and take that. Hopefully it's not +1 combat. I'm hoping it's above. It is above. Strength. Next attack deals plus 50% damage. That is huge. Who are you? Excuse me? Enables the use of several powerful skills. Sounds like I don't want you to live, but there's not much that we can do about that. So instead, we're going to use the person who deals the least amount of technical damage on the person who has block, because then we lose less damage. Owl's having a meltdown. Excuse me, you also lost all your health?
Incremental, but deadly all the same. A promising development.
Combat start has Horrify, 10% chance. Nice. Nice.
Another impediment, cleared with impunity.
Does not use my turn. That's good. Because that guy totally revived him. At least it looked like he did. Yeah.
Once again, teetering on that terrible precipice.
Now that's kind of deadly.
The sum
For that
total of
reason.
violent equation.
You really don't want to be on death's door
Unfavorably
with a debuff on you like that, one that ticks for damage, because then you roll at the start of your turn. You would much prefer to have that, well, first off, not happen at all, but you want someone else to have the ability to heal you usually. It's just going to tell us that, yep, the entire expedition. the heck was that?
Let us take a closer look at the thing, as repulsive as it is.
I see. So it's also able to make our tombstones are also able to block enemy attacks. Well, at least that's something. Don't you do it. Okay, thank you. All right.
A lesson taught is a lesson learned.
We're still alive and nobody important died. Do we really have Owl's corpse? Is that what that is? Delivered to the inn to gain candles? Okay. True unwavering standards. Seems like something that we would want to equip if we had access. Can I put both of them on the same person? No. They have to be different. I guess put some move resist. No, that's not move resist. Debuff resist. Everybody has standards. Let that be a lesson in life. We're still going to the lair. The whole point was to die within the hour, and we didn't even manage to do that. There's this fight before the lair, though, so we could potentially not make it. It's just two of these bandit homeboys. Oh, that hits the whole party? Man, I wish I'd have known. And we still bled. Explain. All right. It's kind of the break that we needed back when Owl was being tested.
Steady yourself. Relief comes rarely in these times. Savor it. A little help, impeccably timed.
All right. Necronix is about to have a nuclear meltdown, but otherwise we're probably as healthy as we're going to be going into these this layer here. Cooper saying words of encouragement. Very rare.
Within every keep.
Alright. Region bosses dwell. To reach the boss, you must first win your way past 2 sentry battles. You may retreat from the lair after each battle, but delve further, you'll get more loot. They are the only source of trophies. Trophies act as a key to the mountain. Okay, so it's kind of like Slay the Spire, where you have to take like one elite, except in this case the elite is a 3-tiered battle.
The general and his loyal lumbering guard.
Doesn't seem like fun. Come on, good stuff. Yeah. I'll take it. All right. We don't necessarily have good backline damage to actually take care of that guy. He is now being protected by who? Their all-foot soldier? Excuse me? Does that only target, like... No, that it targets everybody. I was about to say, our Plague Doctor's getting hit a lot for that. All right.
She understood death, but could not defy it.
Here lies Big Red, killed by some sick beats. Well, at least we should get our wish of this run ending soon. Defiling his tombstone too. Very rude. The fact that Pick ignores block is kind of interesting. The problem is that it doesn't get rid of block. So we're kind of like still stuck in this slog here.
an abrupt end.
So one thing that I'm also noticing is we likely don't want to hit this layer in, like, air quotes, Act 1. Because, yeah, technically we could have 4 people right now. But at least going into the fight like this, right, with people already stressed, we even got Resolute a couple of times, so technically the stress wasn't anything of note. It gave us a heal even. It's still a slog going through this. And again, that's mainly probably us keeping the drummer alive, because we don't really have, well, now our man-at-arms can reach them because they are in tier 3, but otherwise we didn't really have that backline burst, and they kept putting guard on themselves, and we weren't able to, like, dig through it, if that makes any sense. So it's honestly a pretty difficult fight. Maybe I need to learn better how to maneuver this, but if this is the first of 3 fights, right, how exactly is this going to be trying to kill the boss of this thing?
A righteous action.
Certainly won't last for long. Yeah. Eventually we'll lose all of our death blow resist.
Remain undeterred, and you will yet prevail.
Alright. Anyways, we got 8 candles, so we got that going for us. We'll be able to unlock more run progression stuff.
Up ahead,
Guess we might as well look at this actually. Okay, apparently we can actually, like, look at everything now. You can unlock the ability to imbue heroes with memories. Each memory will remain with that hero as long as they are successful in their expedition. Then the hero can be used again in the next expedition, and they will keep their quirks. Furthermore, every time a hero is victorious in a new unique confession, they can have another memory invested into them up to a maximum of 5 memories. I see, so this is pretty much like spending meta currency on heroes in order to slightly buff them. Seems like all of our stuff.
Look to those who have known fear and failure in ample portion.
Unlock and improve heroes. I see. So there's a meta progression. Not quite sure how I feel about that. Might be why we're also getting our asses beat. And they have paths, which seem like it's... yeah, it's like subclasses or alternative classes. Interesting. Well, how exactly do we unlock? Is it just... Unlocks Hellion. Gotcha. So we can unlock one. Am I able to say no to what I just did? Nope. Okay, we're unlocking Hellion. Boosh. It also seems like it doesn't matter that we spent 8 here because it requires 53 to unlock everything on these people and 61 to unlock everything on people that we unlock. And my guess is that these are the same distance just due to the fact that we have to put 8 here. This looks like we're unlocking stuff more often. Alright, we unlocked another class. Probably going to work on unlocking all those, although it seems like the thing that you're supposed to be doing is just unlocking items through here so that you have more stuff in your campaign that can theoretically give you good stuff. But it also seems like, sorry, going back to the Living City, that some of the things is the fact that you can find trinkets here for that class, which also seems to make them like a little bit better. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the introduction to Darkest Dungeon 2. Hopefully it'll remain enjoyable throughout the month. I don't see why it can't be. People love watching people suffer, right? We will not be starting a new run.
You must face your failure.
Can I go back to the main menu? I can only exit to game? Okay, well anyways, I will catch you guys next time with a new run. If you have any feedback whatsoever, be it comments, questions, concerns, misplay alerts, be sure to leave that down in the comments below. And until next time, we'll catch you guys around.